Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Cover Four podcast on, believe it or not, Pi Day 314. And also, my partner out there in Provo, Utah. Well, I need to have a discussion with Terry.
Watch you put up with
Saw
me for
this,
this long.
saw this on my Facebook page last night. Uh, did you feel sorry for this guy or what?
You know,
15 years. Congratulations. Happy anniversary.
thank you very much. Yeah, it was last night on the 13th at 5 o'clock Mountain Time. We always stand in our kitchen and remember back the night before we got married. Our whole family, her brothers, my girls were little, her dad, her niece, and her husband, and the other niece and her husband, all crammed into the living room around the corner from the kitchen. Oh, we could hear them all in there just laughing and having a great time. And me and her stood in front of that kitchen sink looking out the window and then looked at each other with a deer in headlights look, looking like, are we really going to do this?
Yeah.
And I'm sure glad we did. It's been
Yes.
wonderful 15 years.
Yes, it has. Well, March Madness is upon us, and it's not looking good for the Sooners after
No.
losing to TCU in the Big 12 tournament up at
Oh,
T-Mobile Arena in
gosh.
Kansas City. The uh, looking at Andy Katz's final bracket before Selection Sunday, he had the Sooners as a 9 seed and sending them out east to take on Northwestern, with the winner of that game taking on Connecticut, the number 1 seed.
So two of the hardest teams in the bracket the Sooners would have to face right off the bat. If they even got by round one, then they'd have to take on the powerhouse of Connecticut.
Yeah, yeah. That's not very healthy. Now,
No.
biggest question is, do they go to last 4 in or first 4 out? That's going to be a big question.
Don't know. After losing to TCU in the manner they lost, I know the score was 77-70,
But they were way behind there.
They were very far behind. They did not look good overall. And they very well could be the first 4 out. The only thing that would carry them through maybe would be the brand, possibly.
That the I don't know how many Group 1 wins they've had. It's don't know what's going through the mind of the committee
Don't
with
know.
3 games left to go, and 3 days left before they make the final decision. So
Don't know. It's going to depend a lot. Sooners wind up the season 20-12. Um, you
that
know,
will help them.
it will.
Uh,
It will.
but the thing that hurts them is what happened last night.
Yeah, exactly.
Texas
Exactly.
gets beat, and they were looking fairly high up the board. And the one that was really high up on the board got crushed by Cincinnati. And I may have to check on Greg Crouch, better known as Digger. As big a KU fan as he is, he
Yeah.
might have committed Harry Carey last night.
That was quite a surprise because Kansas basketball is the be all to end all in the Big 12, traditionally, always has been. And they've got the name in basketball, and that was quite a shocker.
Yes. And they were sitting there, I think, 2 or 3 seed. They might have dropped a little further than that.
Yeah.
But got 2 games today with teams around here. The University of Tulsa playing in the AAC tournament down at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, taking on East Carolina. I think Eric Conkle, they've got to win one to
Hmm.
make sure they get an NIT bid. Then the other one, Arkansas was down 14 at half to Vanderbilt. Looked like the season was done. They came back, tied it, and beat the Doors in overtime, 90-85. And now they get to face South Carolina at 2:30 today at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. And if you win that one, then you got to face Tennessee, a team that I saw play in Bud Walton Arena and blew them out by 29. And Tennessee,
Wow.
one of the best teams in the country and the best team I saw all year. And they've got 2 guys that are really, really good. Adu and Connect. Those 2 guys are pretty good. And I look for Tennessee to be one of those 4 on the 1 line because they're
Hmm.
that good if they don't stub their toe.
Yeah, they are. That wouldn't surprise me. And just kind of adding to, just real quick, going back to the Big 12, my other team out here.
BYU won yesterday.
Yeah, yeah, taking on, and I guess they're playing Texas Tech today.
Right.
Here in
That
just
that could be
here in a
interesting.
few minutes. That could be very interesting because they're both really close. I think BYU's 123, Texas Tech is 122,
Mhm.
and they're side by side, 5 and 6 in the Big 12. So, going to be an interesting day.
Sure will. That it will. And looking at the sites for this year's tournament, of course, the first 4 is always played at Dayton, at University of Dayton Arena.
Hmm.
The first and second round games are Brooklyn, Charlotte, Indianapolis, Omaha, Pittsburgh, Spokane, and along with Memphis. And then if you want to go see some basketball, first and second round,
Yeah,
Delta Center at Salt Lake is hosting the first and second round.
really.
University of Utah is the host.
Oh, wow. How fun would that be? Drive up there about 45 minutes north of me.
Yeah, yeah. And I've been close to the Delta Center, which is real close to the Tabernacle.
Right, it is. It's just a couple of blocks away.
Yeah. We bowled out there in Salt Lake City at the Salt Palace across the street from the Tabernacle back in the 90s when I was
Hmm.
bowling with some guys out of Tulsa. The guys that were on the board, in fact. So I've walked there, walked inside the grounds there at the Morven Tabernacle, and then walked across the street to where I was bowling. So,
That's interesting. You wouldn't recognize it today. It's all torn up. They're
oh yeah, oh yeah.
earthquake proofing everything. So
Mhm.
everything is all, they've dug out the old foundation from the pioneers from the 1800s. You can see the foundation that they actually put in last time I was up there.
Mhm. The
Interesting.
the regionals, East Regional is at TD Garden, home of the Boston Bruins. Dallas is hosting the South Regional at American Airlines Center. Detroit, Little Caesars Arena hosting the Midwest Regional. West Regional is at LA in what used to be the Staples Center.
Hmm.
So that's the sites, and then the Final Four is the place that Berman calls the big toaster. State Farm Stadium, home of the Arizona Cardinals out in Glendale.
Yep.
And what's going to be odd this year when we watch the Final Four is
Yeah.
Jim Nance not calling it. He gave it up after last season.
Wow.
So he retired from being the voice of the Final Four appropriately in Houston, where he went to school. He went to the University of Houston, played on the golf team back when he was going to college. And Ian Eagle is the guy who will replace Jim Nance.
It's going to be different.
It's going to be
It's
a
going to
little
be different.
but Ian's a really good announcer. So it'll be him. I think Raptree will be there again. Clark Kellogg. Excuse me. So that'll be the new Final Four team. That'll be coming up.
Yep.
Next year, be down south of us. San Antonio will host it at the Alamo Dome.
Oh, wow.
Then the rest of them go to Indianapolis in 26, Detroit to Ford Field in 27. Vegas gets it in 28 at Allegiant. And then Indianapolis again in 29. And then Jerry's World hosts it in 2030. So those are the sites that have been selected for the tournament. And like I say, the only two left are TU and Arkansas. Bill Haston had a big column yesterday in the World talking about the situation at Oklahoma State, saying if they did nothing, that they're looking at mediocrity. And that's very possible. I think they've got to make a change.
So do I.
And so it'll be interesting to see what happens, see what Chad Weiberg does. A lot of people have been saying get Doug Gottlieb in there. That's been hollered at for several years. In fact, the last time the job came open. What about Scott Sutton, who used to be at ORU?
Yeah.
He's on the staff. He would be one.
Yep.
He's too young right now, but you've got to keep him as an assistant. One of the top 2 scorers in high school basketball history in the state of Oklahoma. Keaton Page. You got to keep him around. It's going to be interesting to see what Chad does here in the next week or two.
Yeah, lots of changes happening. Lots of changes in Stillwater.
Yes, very much so. Baseball, well, the Redmen have been going through some hard times. They won their first game in the MIAA, but have now dropped 9 straight, which 3 of them was against Central Missouri, the number 3 team in the country. They lost Tuesday at UCO, but they come back home. They take on the Newman Jets tomorrow afternoon up at Rousey Field. That's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series up there. Hopefully they can get off the schneid and they can get back in the win column. But MIAA, it's tough. They dropped all 3 out at Fort Hays last week. In fact, they gave up a run in the 9th, the first 2 games of the series, and got walked off. So hopefully Sonny Galloway and the crew can get back on the right track. They're 2 games below 500 right now. And like I say, they play Newman this weekend at home. The Lady Reds, as far as softball is concerned, they're kind of going through some growing pains. They head to Emporia and Washburn this week. Currently, they are 5-14 on the season. They dropped a pair at Claremore to Rogers State. They lost 2-0, 2-0. That was this past weekend up in Claremore, which Rogers State is the defending. They've won a national championship up there. So just some growing pains right now with a new coach. Doubleheader this week with Washburn and Emporia. Come back home 22nd. They take on Pittsburgh State doubleheader, and then Missouri Southern for a doubleheader on Saturday. That's the 22nd and 23rd of March. And the way the wind's blowing right now, oh my gosh, it is blowing a gale right now.
I just got a tornado watch alert for your area flashed up on my phone. So
I would
yeah, I
not.
was wondering what was going on back
Yeah,
there.
it's let me go to WeatherBug, and might be time for a little tornado watch just issued 8 minutes ago by the Storm Prediction Center in Norman. That used to be in Kansas City back when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
This will be in effect until 6 p.m. this evening. So that means Scott Pettis, well, our resident storm chaser, he will be out and about.
He will be buzzing around the county today, won't he?
Yes, he will. Tornado watch is along and 65 statute miles east and west of the line, from 45 miles east northeast of Tulsa to 65 miles southwest of Sherman, Texas.
So, well, you guys having tornado watch? Yep, you guys be careful out there. We're having it's going to get all the way up to 47 degrees out here. So much warmer than it's been than earlier in the week when it was snowing.
It's 68 right now. And like I say, it's blowing a gale out there right now out of the south. For those that are new to the
area,
a tornado watch or a severe thunderstorm watch just means conditions are favorable for severe thunderstorms, large hail, damaging winds, dangerous lightning. That doesn't mean go to the Frady hole just yet.
No,
we don't do what Gusty used to do. Dive into the Frady hole.
Right. Yep. I remember many times seeing Gusty diving into the hole.
Yes, you and me both. And the great Don Woods.
Yeah.
Don's been gone quite a while, but wouldn't you like to had one of those drawings that he did there?
Oh man. Yes, I would.
But didn't get picked.
He came and spoke at a church in Tahlequah, and my grandma took me, and he gave away several Gusties, and one of my best friends got one, but I was not lucky enough to get one. The best I got was a Gusty book.
Yeah, that's still pretty good.
It was fun.
Yep. We're talking about baseball. The conference season starts for everybody this week, which I follow, as you know, the Razorbacks, and they take on an old foe of the Sooners. The Missouri Tigers come
Oh,
to Tom Walker Stadium tomorrow night, 6 o'clock start, then 2 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. If you are subscribed to ESPN Plus, you can get to watch those ball games on the internet. Arkansas will not be televised linearly by over the air till the 28th of March. And that's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series because that's Easter weekend.
mm-hmm.
Everybody plays Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And who do they play? The Bengal Tigers of LSU. And I can tell you right now, almost 35,000 people for the 3-game series at Baum Walker. You
I'm
will not
sure.
be able to get a seat. You will have to sit out in the hog pen in left field or standing room around the seating bowl there at the ballpark there in Fayetteville. Excuse me. Thank goodness for a cough button on my
Yeah,
mic.
definitely. You and I both been using those today.
Yes. And Arkansas, in every poll except the collegiate baseball writers, they are the #1 team in the country right now. Wake Forest lost a couple to Duke last week, so they dropped all the way down to #4, and Arkansas took over the #1 spot. And Hagen Smith will pitch tomorrow night. Then Brady Tigert will start on Saturday, and then Molina will start on Sunday. I think DVH, Dave Van Horn, has found his pitchers for the weekend last
Mm-hmm.
couple of weeks, and they have been striking out people left and right. Smith struck out 17 down in Arlington. He struck out, I think it was 13 or 14 the other night. They defeated ORU Tuesday night 4-2 in one of their final tune-ups before conference play starts over the weekend. And speaking about, let's just see what your Sooners are doing. Sooner sports, baseball.
On the baseball side, I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up myself.
Yeah,
While we're looking at the baseball side, let me talk about the softball side. You want to
go
talk about
right ahead. That's
a familiar foe that you might recognize, Tarleton State.
yes, they are.
Sooners took on Tarleton, and Kelly Maxwell, Oklahoma pitcher, threw her 5th collegiate no-hitter
Yes.
during that doubleheader down in Norman. Sooners down Tarleton State 8-0 and 12-1.
So a couple of run rules for Patty
Yep.
Gables Ball Club. And you know what the nickname of the women's team is in at Tarleton?
No. What is it?
The men is the Texans.
Uh-huh.
The women are the Texans.
I see. Very cute.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Just like Missouri Southern is not Missouri Southern, but Central Missouri. The men is the Mules, and the women's teams are the Jennies.
That's cute. Very cute.
So yeah.
Very cute. Oklahoma bounced off that loss and back at #1.
Yep.
And back on their streak.
Yes. And when do they play Texas?
Let me look at the schedule here. It's coming up, I believe, in April. I think it's right after pulling up here. All right. All right. So they take on UT. Okay. So next they take on the Red Raiders of Texas Tech, and then
Okay.
UT Arlington goes to town, and then they have to play Baylor in a Big 12 matchup. It's always a big one.
That could be tough.
Could be
Mhm.
Wichita State for a single game, and then a triple series against Kansas, and then the Longhorns. Sooners have to travel to Austin
Ooh.
for that
They'll
one.
fill that place up down in Austin for 3 ball games.
Yep, that one is going to be the second game on April the 6th. Saturday will be on ESPN.
That'll be good. And I think down at Texas, their one of their assistant coaches, you've heard of this the girl's name, Kat Osterman.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's back at UT as an assistant. And speaking about UT, the women's basketball team won the Big 12 women's title
Yes, they
and
did.
have a connection down there. A young lady that she was the head basketball coach for 2 seasons at UA Fort Smith whenever I was doing some games for them, either at Northeastern or at Rogers State. Elena Lovato. Uh,
Hmm.
she was an assistant for Vic Schaefer at uh, Mississippi State. Went to got the job at Fort Smith. Then the administration down there didn't back her nor the men's coach as far as funding is concerned.
Hmm.
And within 24 hours, they had lost both of them. And
Wow.
she was so unhappy, she called Vic, and Vic had heard that she wasn't happy. And she said, yeah, and said, name your price. She shot him a number, and he says, done deal. And she was on her way back to start Vegas. And then when the Texas job opened and Vic got the job down on the 40 acres, he brought the whole staff, including
Wow.
Elena. She was his recruiting coordinator. I think she sat out a year, may have been during the COVID year, but she is now the associate head coach. So she's right behind Vic as far as on the staff is concerned. So it'll be very interesting to see where both Texas and OU wind up going in the NCAA tournament. And you might want to throw Oklahoma State in there. Tulsa, they might. They won the American regular season title, but losing by 4 to East Carolina, uh, that might hurt their chances of making the NCAA. I hope not, but that that could happen.
It
The
could. It very well could.
the selection will be on Monday around noon for the women. So, excuse me, we'll find out what happens come Sunday and Monday with the selections, and then the guys who don't make it to the tournament. Well, there's always the NIT.
Yep, that's true.
So, well, I think we pretty much covered everything this week, and
Think so. It's kind of a getting geared up for next week. Lots to
Yeah.
talk about for the college, on the college side for sure.
Yep. We were talking about uh, OU baseball. They went down to Arlington and played UTA last night and defeated them 5-1 last night.
Really?
So they beat the moving Mavs, and they don't play at Globe Life Field. They have their own place on campus there at UTA, and then they are continue. They open Big 12 play this week against the number 12 Horned Frogs at TCU, and that will be Friday through Sunday with first pitch at 6:30 Friday night, 5 o'clock on Saturday, and then 1 o'clock on Sunday. All three games will be on ESPN Plus, so you can see them digitally on the internet, and also you can listen to the games on the Varsity Sports app. So you pick up the OU broadcast there. You want to listen on your phone or on your computer. If you've got the Varsity Sports app, you can listen to the ball games.
Very good.
Not only OU, but you can listen to my buddies over in Stillwater, Rex and the Chief, doing the ball games. Rex Holt, Chief Davis. They will be. They're still doing OSU baseball. So if you want to listen, also Arkansas will be on there with Phil Elson and Bubba Carpenter. If you want to listen to that series this week from Fayetteville. So, well, a couple of weeks away from the start of Major League Baseball, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about that. See where our boy Ryan Helsley is gearing up for another season with the Birds on the bat. And another guy I kind of watch and see if he happens to land somewhere, Archie Bradley. Used to live in Muskogee, pitched for Broken Arrow. Was going to play for OU, but then got drafted so high, he took the money and ran, and I don't blame him.
Can't blame him.
He was with the Marlins last year, but I don't know where he's going to be this year. I know he's throwing. He's shown some pictures on his Instagram page that he's throwing. So somebody might pick him up if they have a problem in the bullpen. So, but that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Cover 4 podcast. Next week, we'll talk about the bracket and see where everything lies. We'll do that on a Wednesday, and we'll get ready to see if the Sooners made it and see what our thoughts are. Who's going to be the team that cuts the nets down in Phoenix come the first part of April? And we'll talk about that next week on the Cover 4 podcast. We'll see you next week. So long, everybody.